happening here in a second. Marnie, we have new technology with you this week.
Yes, I'm on my mobile phone, but we're going for the next Academy Award.
That's right, Tony Ceruno style. And we've got a couple of Hopkins High moms with us today. Do you want to do the honors?
Yes, I would love to. I'm so excited to welcome Karen McIntire Miller and Jenny Anderson Merritt. And it's the first time, Jason, that the women have outnumbered you on the show.
I know, it's fine. I'm good with it.
I'm sure you are.
So Karen is in suburban Chicago, yes?
Yep, Aurora, Illinois.
Aurora, Illinois, home of Wayne and Garth show.
Oh, yes, yes. Among, yeah, I'm trying to think what else we're known for. Yes. Yeah.
And Jenny's in Waconia. That's still considered the suburbs, right? You're still close enough. You can still be out there.
I mean, we Laconia consider that, but no one else does.
Well, so just help us describe where you are. Like, if I wanted to drive from Minneapolis to Waconia, where would I go?
Well, you kind of, I don't know, I think of it as like you have the cities and then you have the first ring, and then, I don't know, and then you have the next ring, which might be Eden Prairie, and then we're after that. So,
And why are you there?
Because when my kids were really young, that's where my mom lived, and she was watching our firstborn. So it was easier to move this direction. And my husband was from a really small town in North Carolina, so a smaller town spoke to him in a way, even though now I'm like, oh God, why do we live out here?
It's beautiful out there, though. You've got the lake, Lake Waconia. It's great. And there's good restaurants and stuff now, right? It's sort of happening.
There's a lot of fabulous things, and I mean, I work out here. I work for the school district, and that's great, and there's great people, but we would probably like to live in the cities with the amenities and the diversity and everything like that.
Me too. I've been living in the suburbs of the Bay Area for 10 years, and I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
I'm headed back to a city. Why are you in Aurora, Karen?
Well, my parents moved here. My parents moved to Naperville right after high school, right when I finished high school. They moved here because of my dad's job. And then I went to Mankato State, go Mavericks, I roomed with Jen and the other Jenny and Megan Blonigan, her when she did her master's program. So then I spent my summers down here in Naperville with my parents, and I lifeguarded at Centennial Beach. It's a big quarry in Naperville for swimming, and I met my future husband there. So then after I graduated, I ended up coming back, staying down here, and then getting a teaching job, and then they retired and left. My parents did. They went right back to Minnesota. But
so you guys have, I mean, so you roomed together in Mankato, but like you've remained pretty close, right? Ever since high school, pretty much. You're sort of part of this crew of women that have stayed in touch and everything. Tell us how, like, you're obviously far apart, but you get together pretty regularly and stuff. Tell us about your friendship.
Yeah. So I don't know if you remember, Karen, like where we reconnected after high school, I was moving into Gage Tower in Mankato. And I think you and Jenny were like, I don't know, doing something right in the parking lot. And we just ran into each other. And we were like, of course, like, oh my gosh. And then the next year we just all became roommates. We went and got an apartment. And so Karen and Jenny Thompson and Megan Blonigan and Katie Keene, Jill Cobstein or Tisa Cobstein, and Mary, we just all have stayed connected. And you know, it just, I mean, as you guys all know, there's just such good solid people that graduated in our class, and so it's been easy.
Yeah. And we've been lucky enough to get up to Katie Keene, well, not Katie Stevenson. She's still KK to me. To her, she has had us up to her cabin several times, and in high school we went there a lot of good memories there. So that's kind of seems to be where we end up when we're together a lot, which is fun. But yeah, we've Jenny and I we met in 6th grade.
No.
What
ninth
number
grade.
about that?
What
Ninth
grade did you come?
I moved to Hopkins in 9th grade.
You didn't come till 9th grade. I feel like it's
Yeah.
longer.
I think we played volleyball together.
Yes, we did. We played volleyball together.
Mhm.
So, yeah. So
What do you
So-
remember about when you were younger?
What's that?
What do you remember about 9th grade together?
What do
You
we?
know,
I,
Go ahead,
go ahead,
Karen.
Jen. You go take this one.
Well, here's the funny thing. Like, we were friends in 9th grade and in high school, but it's not like we hung out. I mean, actually, Marnie, I was closer with you and Dina and Chris Arney, like 9th and 10th grade year. Like, when I think back about my high school, I remember that was really super vivid. And of course, my Trista was a really good friend of mine. And it wasn't really until college, I feel like, Karen, we really connected and we really were like,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think I remember volleyball in 9th grade with you. That was fun. I do remember that.
Were you guys good? Did you have a good 9th grade volleyball team?
I think I was more interested in everything else going around me. I did it for the social part. I think I was all about the social part. Jenny, you were probably, I'm sure you were better than me. Honestly, that's what I
don't even remember. I mean,
I know.
I remember it being a positive experience. How about
Yes.
that?
For sure. For sure.
These shows, all there seems to be themes that tie all of them together. And one of them definitely is people always remember, well, people who played sports when we were growing up always remember how fun it was. And like you're saying right now, like I remember football because of the friends I made and how much fun it was to socialize. But you both have kids who have been jocks, like serious athletes. Do you think that they had fun when they were in 9th grade competing in their sports? It's a lot more serious, I think.
Yeah, Jen, I would say my daughter was purely in it for the same reason I was. She was just in it to have fun and make friends and wave at people and that kind of stuff. But my son was very ultra competitive, but he always loved it. And the minute basketball stopped being fun, like midway through high school, when it became more of a job for him, and he was he played baseball as well. He played that a couple years in college. He pitched. But when he realized basketball was becoming more of a job, then he was like, I'm done. And we're like, okay, you're done whenever you're done. And but he did love playing baseball too. And he loved that. He played 2 years in junior college and blew out his shoulder, and he'd already had Tommy John, so he was done. But actually, it was probably the way it should have been, because then now he can just focus on finishing up school. It's a lot of work doing both. So
Sure. Jenny, what about you? You have a daughter who's a very competitive softball player, and a son who plays pretty competitive basketball, right?
Right. Yeah. So I have my oldest daughter, Mandy. She's going to be a senior at Northern State, and so she's a softball pitcher. So she, I don't know, probably started pitching in 8th grade, and then played on club teams, and we traveled all over the place. I mean, in one summer, I think we went to California, Atlanta, Colorado. I mean, so yeah. But it's always, as much as she loves and she does. I mean, if you want to be a pitcher, you got to love it, right? But she's met the best people, like lifelong friends. And I think if you were to ask her, that's what she would talk about. My son Regan, he actually played for Hopkins. And so, he has met really great people, but I think he would talk more about being on really fun winning teams more than like what my daughter would talk about, maybe. I don't know. It's a little different.
Now, were you on the 9th grade fast pitch softball team at North?
I was.
I was so unsporty that I was the first base coach.
Okay.
I didn't get to go to
base, Tony.
What? There's no
I
first
think I
base?
played first base. Yeah. Not
Yeah,
that you
maybe.
would have been out there when I was playing first base.
That was the closest I ever got to competitive sports in public school. Mr. Graff let me like sit there and like go, good job.
Right. Right. I mean, he was, you know, that's another really great memory I think a lot of people have is from 9th grade is Mr. Graff and judo. And then, you know, I mean, then you could have him as a softball coach and I don't know, he's pretty amazing.
Did you do judo?
Yes, where is your memory gone, Marnie?
Oh,
I'm
go.
with you, Marnie. Marnie, I'm like you, my memory. I mean, I remember people did judo. I know I didn't do judo, but when people talk about like, oh, I remember this in this class, and I'm like,
No.
mine's not great either.
But that's one of the cool things why I like starting the show is so we can all remember things that we don't remember from each other. I really appreciate that. But there were 2 Mr. Graffs, right? There was
One F and 2 Fs, right? Or did they both have 2 Fs?
no 1 F and 2 Fs.
Thank you. See, I did.
But it was the same, the judo person was the softball coach. That was the same Graff.
Yes, he was 2 Fs.
Oh,
Okay, we'll take a second here to recognize people who have shown up. Thanks, everybody,
Yes.
for joining us here tonight. We have Chad Alt, remembers judo. He's in here.
He does.
Tisa Michelle Kopstein is in. She says,
Tisa.
hola, sweeties. Jenny Thompson is here as well.
Thompson.
And Jim Sexton is here, and he says hello.
Jim.
So as always, everybody who's showing up, if you have questions for Jenny and Karen, throw them in the comments on Facebook, and we'll see if we can get to them before we're done here tonight.
Well, so one of the things that I wanted to bring up, and I was excited to have you on, Karen, was I showed up at my first high school reunion for our 30th, was it, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And at the bar, I was talking to Karen about being an expert because she has older children. And you reminded me, Karen, you said things are different now. High school is different for kids now than it was when we were in high school, and that we were, you know, for some reason we had, you know, in my memory, we had really good friendships, and this is not odd at all for me to like talk to all of you and hear about our memories and friendships. So what do you think's changed?
Well, I think I look at like my 2 kids, and they both are very lucky to have very close friends that they've been in school with since they were kindergarten, just like I've had, you know, like Tisa I've known since, oh my goodness, I think even before kindergarten, because she lived next door to me, and Katie Keene and I have been friends since 4th grade, and I look at like, you know, Jenny and Mary and Tanya and Megan, and we've all been friends since the younger years. There's just a lot of moving in and out for people too, so that a lot of people don't establish those deep friendships. But some do. My kids both have been very lucky to do that. But I think also social media has definitely added a whole nother level of stress to kids these days. I've been in the classroom going in my 26th year, and I see it even, you know, way down in 5th grade. It's just it's a whole nother level for them to have to deal with. And I think it just makes things more stressful for them, knowing they're left out of things. Like if Jenny had been invited somewhere in 9th grade and I wasn't invited, I probably wouldn't have known.
Right.
And, you know, I watched my daughter, you know, the toughest year is probably 6th, 7th grade. Oh, nothing hurts more than watching their heart be broken because they weren't invited, and then they see it all over. Well, when she was a 7th grade, she's 20 now, but you know, just she would see it on Facebook or wherever they saw it back then. I don't even remember I don't even know what it was back then, but it's just a whole nother level of stress that's added to for these kids nowadays that we didn't have to deal with. So that makes it harder, I think.
And Jenny, how young are the kids you work with? Do you work directly with kids or more in the administration?
For me, it's more administration. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I work with the staff more, collaborate with them, not directly with the kids. But it's funny, Karen, that you said that. You hit it right on the head, because just this weekend, my daughter had a basketball tournament, and she's 12, so she's going into 7th grade, and she was just having a whole because all of her group of friends were having a sleepover and she couldn't because she had basketball, and it was very emotional for her. Like, and so I had to like kind of coach her through like how to navigate that without falling apart.
Yep.
Well, when I think about lifelong friendships, and I think about, I've been in California, on the West Coast or the East Coast for mostly since we graduated. But when I see people like you, Jenny, here, I was like, I'll move in with you. Like, our friendship, even though we, just see each other once in a while on Facebook. It's very curious to me what makes, maybe it's that bonding when we're adolescents that stays with people, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe puberty's so awkward, we like all remember that.
But Marnie, your mom's house was sort of like a clubhouse for us at times, I remember. I'm sure Jenny remembers this too, where you would have these parties, but it was more like hangouts. I remember them anyway. When you had a hot tub, which was crazy, and
an indoor hot tub. How gross is that?
Yeah.
With the sauna, like right there, right? It was like the hot tub and then the sauna that you could see into from that tub.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that was the center of activity. And I think that, like, I remember my parents never, if there were certain things, if there were certain people that I was hanging out with, they'd be like, hey, wait a sec, where are you going? What are you doing? But if I was like, oh, we're going to Marnie's house, they'd be like, oh, yeah, okay.
It was okay. I don't think anyone got pregnant.
I don't think so.
I don't think so, no. I don't think anyone got in trouble.
I don't think the cops were ever called or an ambulance was needed.
No.
Right.
I mean, I just feel like there are so many interpersonal skills that we created that I don't think our kids get at that age right now because of social media. It's so different. And I think that might speak to that bond you were talking about, Marnie. So I feel like that creates a stronger bond because we were physically together a lot versus my two older kids are homebodies, so they don't like to go out very much. So I don't know. We'll see when they're like 35 what that does to them.
Yeah, probably.
When you see groups of kids together now, I mean, we sound really old talking about this right now, but when you see groups of kids right now, they're just looking at their phones together in a group. Like, even if you go to like a baseball game or something, you see like a group of 4 teenagers, they're all looking at their phones. When we hung out together, we like had no choice but to talk to each other and entertain our friends, right? So
right.
That was great.
How about like calling a boy or calling a girl? Like, you actually had to call them and talk to them,
Right.
I will tell you though, this year with TikTok, I tell you, this is when I knew I was old, because in my 5th grade class last year, before everything got shut down, last year I would notice all the kids would sit and do like this thing all day, and they're all like doing this thing. And I'm like, what are you doing? I like, what is going on? And they're like, well, it's TikTok. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's what I was like. And then my daughter got me into the animal TikTok. So those are cute. But
what's that?
Well, it's like cute animals doing funny things on TikTok. So she'll show me those, and those are quite funny, but they like do these dances the kids do, and you're like, you're sitting in there teaching a math lesson, and they're like making all the, the little, like, whatever those moves are and stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Well, I know one of the other differences is we not only sat next to each other, right? We like wrote and called each other. Like, I have letters that Jenny and Jason wrote to me, and like notes from, do you guys keep any notes from classes from junior high?
Oh yeah, I've got a whole box of them. Whole box of them with big fat hearts on them, and oh my gosh, yeah. I remember once in elementary school, we got in trouble. Dina Barron and I got in trouble because we were passing notes, I think in Mr. Menzuber's 6th grade class at Catherine Curran. And we were writing to each other about a substitute or something, and we got busted. We were saying something about her clothes or something, and we got caught writing notes, passing notes.
Well, one of the things I forgot to ask you too, some people have been bringing memorabilia from junior high and high school, but we did not prepare you for that. Is there a teacher that you particularly impacted your life?
I have one that comes real, Mr. Searles, my math teacher.
Oh,
I mean, I don't even have to like bat an eye before I say his name. He was so good. He, you know, math wasn't easy for me, and he made me feel like I could do it. Like, of course you can do this. Like, this is ridiculous. You know, like, why, you know, like, it's ridiculous that you think you can't do math. He just was like, yeah, you can do this. And he really, really made an impact on me. I was like, oh, I can actually do this. And I think that's helped me as a math teacher too, you know, that.
How about you, Jen?
You know, and listening to other people do this, and people have these fond memories. I don't know what that means about me, but I mean, nobody that really comes to mind that I'm like, oh, like I remember a science teacher making me cry once, but
what happened?
You know, I don't, he was just really mean. I don't even, I'm sure because I wasn't a super strong student, like I'd have to make an effort to just be average.
Was it at North or high school?
No, this was in high school. I'm sure I wasn't understanding, and he was, who knows how frustrated he was. I mean, he was a high school science teacher. I don't know. Anyhow, and I just, that's why I remember that. But I remember school being really fun, and I enjoyed everything, but I have that memory, which sounds so sad. But
well, maybe it wasn't about the adults, you know. You were learning about other things in other ways. Right. Not strange. How about you, Jason? Who do you remember most?
From high school?
I don't know. I don't care.
Well, we've talked about teachers in every episode, and I've been trying to think if there were teachers that that I remember that affected me a little bit. And another math teacher who I did not like and affected me in, you know, like, well, do you guys remember Mr. Robinson, that math teacher? He was also like an assistant football coach and a basketball coach, and he was a total hard ass. And like, I think what affected me most about him is that we sat in his class, and once we all sort of realized that he was a hard ass and not like particularly in it for, you know, enriching us as students, but like I think he preferred to be a coach more than a teacher. You know, that sort of gave us permission to be like, you know, we can sort of do our own thing here. Like, we don't need to knuckle under to these guys all the time. And like, you know, we can take a little bit of the reins of how this goes, you know, for ourselves. And so it was like, you know, once you sort of realized that you could make fun of a teacher, not in a destructive classroom way, but in just sort of like, who is this guy?
Right.
You know, that was dirty, I think, that we sort of achieved in that guy's class. We'll talk about him next week, because I remember making fun of him with Steve Simon and Adam Sama. So,
well, yes, next week we have Secretary of State Steve Simon, and we have discovered and persuaded the elusive Adam Samaha, professor of law, to come on the show with us. That'll be a good one.
Awesome.
So Stacy Semler has showed up. She's waving
Hi,
hello
Stacy.
to everybody.
Well, so what else do you remember about college? I want to bring up Megan, if that's okay. One of the reasons we started this is so we can remember our classmates and friends who aren't with us anymore. And so tell us a story about college, and if you can, about all of you together, like something fun or wild you did.
Well, let's think what we can share then.
Yes, it's recording.
So, Megan came, she was already done at University of Minnesota, and then she came down for our master's program, and we were so excited to have her there. We were pretty mellow by then, weren't we, Jen? Or maybe not.
I mean,
maybe not.
I don't remember. I mean, we did, you know, we went to parties. We never had parties at our apartment.
No.
We always went to them.
We didn't want our place messed up.
No. We love to go out dancing, and I don't know, we were just really lucky, I think. I mean, besides that one roommate, we were all really like full of fun and just generally just kind of happy people. And Megan is just, was just so full of life and just so funny and positive. I mean, she just fit right in. And I mean, when I think about my other kids, and sometimes, they might have a bad roommate, I'm like, oh my God, we were so lucky. Like, it just was always pretty much easy. Besides, like I said, we had one bad roommate that left like rotten eggs in our apartment before she moved out, but that was it.
And I was like, and it was seriously, just she was not very nice. we were people.
You guys,
we had fun in college. We had a lot of fun, and we just enjoyed each other's company, and we were all like just super respectful to each other and cared about each other, and we had a lot of fun. We did. And
Megan
was a big part of that fun. And
yeah, she was one of these people in high school, I remember, who was just a fan of her friends, right? Like, she was interested in what you were interested in.
Yeah.
And what was really cool about, and I just felt awful that I didn't maintain any contact with her at all. But, when I would see her at reunions or whatever, it was still exactly the same. What are you doing?
Yeah.
That's really great. She was very interested, and
yes.
she would like root you on. And you're like, wow, I didn't really know I needed that pep talk.
Yeah.
But it was really nice to get it from you,
Yeah. She great heart, and deeply cared about all her family and friends so much. And we miss her every day. We miss her. She's missed a lot.
But that's a great description of her. I mean, the last time we all went down there to St. Peter and got together, I mean, that's how she is, or how she was. Like, she just was like so interested in what was going on and just upbeat and positive. And
right.
Yeah.
So Katie Keene has shown up.
Hi, KK.
Yep. And she's saying our reunions have not been mellow. So you guys get her at this lake house, right? And what goes on there?
So we started going there, way back. I've been going there since 4th grade to her lake place, and her parents were always so welcoming and just loving and treat you like family. So every time we go up there post high school and college, it's just like we go back to, we have, we just watched a video the other day of all of us, dancing after some Fireball, probably. Some of us.
Right.
Even before Fireball, we were dancing, but we just love to dance and have fun, and we enjoy ourselves up there.
And what kind of music do you dance to?
Jen?
Well, we have the best DJ in the house with Katie's husband. He usually is the guy that drives the boat for us, and
wow.
Nice.
he's just kind of our sous chef, and then he's our DJ at night, and he's pretty amazing. So he brings us back to the 80s a lot, and
A little bit early 90s.
We think we're all pretty fantastic dancers and singers.
The leg kicks might not be quite as high as they were in the late 80s, but
yeah, there's some gymnastics going on. There's lots of sore muscles after that.
What do you mean? Like cartwheels? What do you mean gymnastics?
Handstands,
Yeah.
back bends.
Yeah. Mary does a great back bend. Oh, so does Tanya. Some of those women are seriously still limber.
I know, right?
Oh my God, that sounds like so much fun. So we are in this time of all of us staying at home a lot. How are you amusing yourselves at home during the pandemic?
Ooh. TikTok.
You're TikToking?
Well, my kids are always like, come on, Mom, let's, so I got to do like the little TikTok. I'm not going to lie. And let's be honest, Karen, if we all got it together at Katie's cabin, we would have a TikTok.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
but whose account? So if people want to follow your TikTok, do you have a TikTok account? I'm not allowed.
Well, I'm more of a, you know, just I like to watch other people's TikTok. I mean, I don't really post me personally.
You'd be good though, Jen.
Oh, for
Oh
sure.
my God, geez, can we so my daughter is I'm not allowed to watch their TikToks.
Oh,
But my daughter has described when she gets 1,000 followers that she can broadcast live on TikTok.
wow.
Wow.
Maybe that's something we should aspire to for KHOP88.
Mm.
Maybe.
I think
On
Jenny should
TikTok?
lead that.
Yeah.
No,
We're not,
No.
we won't turn on the music right now.
right.
Well, Tisa Kopstein says there are videos from this cabin. So, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe that's how someone is making some money to keep those
Possibly.
private on the phone.
There may have been some Vanilla Ice dancing in there as well.
Whoa.
Fantastic. Well, we're nearing the end of our time here. Did you guys have anything that you wanted to make sure that we covered? Did you have any memories that you were thinking about sharing that we didn't get to, or
Or questions for
questions?
Jason and me or each other?
Jason, I enjoy following your Twitter account. I will have to say that.
Oh, really?
Yes. I do. You have some good articles and things that you retweet and stuff like that, and I haven't been enjoying them. So thank you. I had to let you know.
Well,
that.
thank you for that. I
Yeah.
try not to get into trouble there.
Well, yeah, I I have to be careful too because my Twitter account is not really school related, but I'm always aware that anybody can see. So I'm very careful on what I like. I don't really tweet much of anything, but I'm very careful what I like because I don't want, cause
yeah, I can
waves.
come back on you for sure.
Yeah,
People-
for sure.
yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
So, plans for the rest of the summer? You guys are now gearing. We talked about this a little before
Yes.
we came on, but you guys are gearing up for the school year. So, one last bash with the kids and stuff.
Well, we were supposed to go to Florida this week, but we canceled that. It just wasn't a good time to go down there and bring elderly people as well. Our in-laws are going. So I'm supposed to start in like 2 weeks, but supposedly right now we're hybrid, but that could change because even as we speak every day, districts are pushing things back to September already. And so just kind of waiting to see, hanging out and waiting to see how we're going to start. Jenny,
How about you?
guys?
We'll find out actually on Thursday what our school system is going to do with learning, and so then I'll have to figure out all the programming around that. But like for my kids, like Mackenzie, my oldest, she goes to school in South Dakota, so it's just a free-for-all there. So she'll go back and go to school and probably get COVID and work through that, and thankfully she's healthy. So, and then Regan is going to go to River Falls, but that doesn't start to the beginning of September. And so, yeah, hopefully we'll go to Duluth for 3 days and as a family, and that's what it is.
Yep.
I wish you could all come over. We don't have a basement like I did in Minnesota, but I wish you are all welcome to come out here and we can have a dance party in California someday.
Where in California? Where are you in California?
I live 1 hour north of San Francisco.
Oh, because we were just saying on the car ride up to Wisconsin, or we were headed to Wisconsin for a few days, and we decided, because I've had, first world problems. I've had like 3 trips canceled in the last 4 months because it's our 50th birthday. We had all these fun,
Right.
Yeah.
the trip with all the high school girls, and I had, all kinds of other stuff. But anyways, so I said to him, we kind of decided we're going to do Yosemite next year, hopefully. That would be, we love national parks. So, but how far are you from Yosemite? That's probably.
It's far, but you can come.
Yeah.
Well, see, one of the things that's great about where I live is we have a lot of remote open beaches where you can go and, you are hundreds of yards away from other families.
Nice.
So you're all welcome to have a beach party with me if you ever come out this way.
Sounds awesome.
I would love that.
Sounds awesome.
I would love that too, because Marnie, that's, like I said, I have such strong memories of our time together in 9th and 10th grade that I would love to relive some of those. fun time.
I know. Well, it's funny having you here, and you're like my first close girlfriend who is on the show, and it's so emotional. I don't even want to tell anyone about my memories, not because they were so like racy or anything. It's just so intimate, right? Like that friendship I really appreciate having that love for you still in spite of the decades. So
Right.
someday we'll party in California.
Right. Exactly.
Well, we will have to get Tisa Kopstein on here too. So we'll reach out to you. And,
For sure.
Thanks for everybody.
Tisa's done a lot of cool things since high school. She'd be awesome to have on here.
Well,
Yeah.
we're going to have everyone on. Jason, I didn't even ask Jason. We're going to keep doing this till everyone is on.
Awesome. That is
We have some
awesome.
great shows lined up.
Awesome. I love hearing about what everybody's been doing. I love it. It's so fun.
Yes, and I really appreciate you both coming on together and sharing some of your memories together, because I think that's one of the important things is talking about our friendships and our memories and people who are no longer with us and our next reunions at beaches and cabins.
Yeah.
Right. So next week we have Steve, Simon, and Adam Samaha.
Yes.
We'll see you all back here. Thanks everybody for tuning in.
Mhm.
Thank you, Karen and Jenny. Great to see you guys. Your summer environs, respectively, Illinois and Minnesota. Marnie with the Oscar.
For this show.
Yeah.
I love it.
Have a great night, you guys.
Yeah,
Thanks
good
again.
night, everyone.
Take
Thank
care,
you.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.